Hello, I'm Shelley Lee, one of the coordinators for disaster response and volunteers in mission for your annual conference.
And I'm Roy Lee, the other coordinator. We're here today to tell you about these two ministries.
The United Methodist Church provides disaster response so that volunteers can be the caring Christian presence that survivors need during a hard time, and so that we can provide the many supplies and services that survivors need after a tornado or a flood. We also provide volunteers in mission ministry to give United Methodists a way to get trained, be prepared, join a group, stay in touch, and help their neighbors during good times and bad.
So, what did the disaster response do at these times? We gathered up volunteers. We organized the volunteers. They showed up with chainsaws, rakes, plastic bags, tarps,
Disaster supplies.
and disaster supplies.
And they showed up with love for the disaster survivors who needed them at that time.
Hi, I'm Paul Gandy. I'm part of the early response team sponsored by the United Methodist Church. As a chainsaw operator, we're called when disaster strikes to help those in need, and it's a pleasure to do so.
Disaster response makes a big impact. We gather volunteers and supplies all year long to where we can be ready when this time comes. Last year at the end gathering, we made over 300 disaster kits to replace the hundreds that we gave out the year before.
After every disaster that we have, teams of volunteers deploy all over the state to help their neighbors. We also travel when we're invited to other conferences, and they in turn come to help us. With climate change, we see storms that are more frequent and more violent than ever. We see droughts and wildfires where we never saw them before. Agencies that once stepped in to help no longer do so. So Arkansas Disaster Response and UMCOR are more valuable than ever.
Being able to help our neighbors lets us live out our conference mission statement, which is following Jesus, loving people, and sharing grace.
We want to thank our 4 district disaster response coordinators, Pam Lamp Criswell in the Northeast District, Brad Moore in the Northwest, Walt Garrett in the Central District, and Andrew Orr in the South District. We also want to thank Donna Johnson, our Disaster Supply Hub Manager. These busy folks are the backbone of United Methodist Disaster Response in Arkansas. We also want to thank all the early response team members who trained and responded to disasters, both locally and in other conferences. We especially want to thank the 31 ERTs that Roy and I trained in the last year. We want to thank conference and district staff and Bishop Merrill, who support disaster response and volunteers in mission and give us help every time we ask.
So remember, disasters don't make appointments, so we must be ready.